I love Super Mario RPG. It was my introduction to JRPGs as a kid, and it was my favorite until about a year or two later when I played Chrono Trigger, which is still my go-to game when weighing the greatness of other JRPGs to this day. But Super Mario RPG is special. It contains the magic of two iconic companies, Nintendo and Square Enix, fused together perfectly to create a unique experience unlike anything either company has done since. It was meant to be the game that introduced the genre en masse to the US, where once upon a time, believe it or not, there wasn't a giant army of weebs foaming at the mouth for animated himbos and waifus in melodramatic stories with turn-based combat sprinkled in for good measure. I know it sounds wild, but it's true. Square had previously tried to appeal to the West once before with Final Fantasy Mystic Quest, and since found that success with the aforementioned Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy III, which was actually Final Fantasy VI but rebranded as 3 in the US. But with the face of the most iconic video game character of all time, they could really get things cracking out here. So the two giants decided to collaborate, and the rest is history. And now, a whole legally drinking adult of years later, we got a remake on Switch, and the magic is still there. Undeterred by odd instances of stutter and some isometric platforming sections from hell that could have been refreshed, it's still just as magical all these years later. The mechanics are simple, turn-based combat with the standard 4 options, with the twist of timing bonuses. If you time a button press just right on attack, you'll do bonus damage, and if you time a button press just right when being attacked, you can block and nullify incoming damage. And all those bonuses also add to a meter that allows you to do a special animated attack featuring your whole party when the meter is full. It's really simple but fun. You also can find and purchase better gear as you progress, and new different weapons change your play style and the timing of the bonuses to keep things fresh. The story starts out like your standard Mario game. The princess was kidnapped by Bowser, and it's up to the greatest mustachioed pipe cleaner of all time to get her back. But things take a turn pretty early, and I don't want to spoil anything at all, so that's all I'm going to say about that. But I do want to talk about a couple original characters that this game introduced, and how my opinions of them flipped all these years later. Geno is a name you probably know even if you never played Mario RPG back in the day, because he was one of the most highly requested characters for Smash, but we never got him, unfortunately. As a kid, he seemed almost like a blue version of Link to me, but he's very different. He's a living puppet, like if Pinocchio was mysterious and had crazy magic powers. He's pretty badass, and he was my favorite as a kid. But another character introduced in this game, Mallow, is a big fluffy cloud of a dude who's highly emotional, and he's an equally powerful magic user as Geno. I thought he was too sensitive and wrote him off as a kid, but I really appreciate him and his story arc now. The game took me about 14 hours to complete the main story, but I also wanted to check everything out and take the nostalgia to the head, so give or take an hour or two for a first time player. And there's still post game stuff, and I didn't try to 100% it necessarily, so there could be another 4 or 5 hours there for you. I mentioned the negatives briefly earlier, and that there is some pretty noticeable stutter at random places, including the pause menu, which is wild, and 2 particular platforming sections, one where you have to jump from vine to vine, and another near the end which remained true to the original but really didn't have to. They could have definitely been refreshed. The stutter isn't super frequent, and I enjoyed it despite both minor inconveniences. The game is great gameplay wise and story wise. I actually really wish the Mario movie adapted this story, and the ending is the best end credit scene of any Mario game ever, so that's pretty cool. that's my review of Super Mario RPG for the Switch. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate your support, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.